Hi guys, so in this final video on our demo layout, I want to talk about start and stop ops for the locos as they start on their schedules or depart. And so the obvious things are turn on your headlights and turn on your engine noise when you start, and when you finally get the engine back to the yard, you want to turn the headlights off and the engine noise off. So how do we do all that? I'm going to start by coming down here and looking at Stretch's loco, and you can see that in Train Controller we record what the functions, what the F numbers are. As many as you have on the loco can be recorded here. And we also put an icon against it so that in Train Controller you can use the icon to drive whichever F function number you've got on that loco or other locos, so that you can use the same command in Train Controller, i.e. headlights on, regardless of what the function number is, engine noise on, regardless of what the function number is, horn, blow the horn, regardless of what the function number is. Within Train Controller, we would recognize them by these diagrams, or icons, sorry. And if you look at one of my locos, of course, the thing is, I do it slightly differently, but more or less the same. I have this icon for my loco lights, and this icon for engine sound. It's basically the same as Stretch's, but it's got a black background and a red lit lines, audio lines for sound on, and green lit when sound is off, and then various other functions. So the way that we actually go, we'll have to figure a way where we try and standardize between all of us who want to run trains under Train Controller to use a similar set of icons, because the way we handle these icons in starting up a schedule and stopping is through macros. And in the macros we describe a set of start operations. And what I've done here is describe for my locos, turn the lights on, turn the engine sound on. For Stretch's loco, his icon, turn the lights on, turn the diesel on, or the electric on. And basically all of these functions would be executed, and my loco would ignore these three. Stretch's diesel locos would do the first two and ignore the electric, and electric locos would turn the headlights on and turn the electric noise on, but ignore the diesel. So the start ops is simply a list of engine functions that we want to start, and stop ops are simply those same functions now in their turned off state. How do we get the turned off state? Well, if I click this and I go to change here, you can see that if I drop down and turn the lights on, I actually thought I was going to hit, let me turn that one off again, because while you can see that it changed, the engine sound is a bit more obvious. Okay, and on my locos, red means it's making a lot of noise, and green means it's off. So we're in stop ops here, so we would actually want this one to be in the green state. So, and you can see that it's fairly simple and straightforward to make these changes. So we have a set of start ops for basically all the locos that we use here, with the exception of Stretch's Lint DMU. And the reason being is it's quite a bit more complicated. We want to turn the lights on, we want to turn the car lights on. The doors should be opened. We turn the diesel engine on, and in fact, as I run through that, this is how easy it is. We turn the diesel on first, and maybe even before we turn the headlights on. Then turn the lights on, headlights on, the car lights on, the door opens. We have a conductor whistle and a delay. So conductor whistle on, dark, a delay, so it's a half-second whistle, and we turn that whistle off again, and then we close the doors and the train is ready to roll. And we have a set of stop-ops for the same train, and here we put the lights off, the diesel off, last of all, and the headlights off, and we leave the doors in the closed position. So those macros are written. How do we use them? Well, we basically have to go to the dispatcher schedule, and let's go to leave yard from the beam. So we come here to the front, the start of the schedule, leave yard B. So each of these schedules leaving the yard will be the same. They have this list. And if I click on this button, it calls out, I want you to use the macro called start ops. So we'll run through that macro and do the thing, start the engine sound, start the lights and so on, and we'll all be ready to rock and roll. Now, there's nothing here under finish ops, right? Because this schedule just passes on to a successor. It just keeps rocking and rolling. But our trains actually come back and stop in the yard. So let's look at a return to yard. Return to yard C, general. Here we have a list. And it's got the stop out macro. So when this train pulls back into the yard and stops here, it'll switch itself off and everything will sit there quiet until we start the schedule again. And exactly the same thing happens to the C yard, where the leave yard C, which is the Linz schedule, and we run through those ops, and when we come back there, we run through the stop ops. So I think at that stage, we've played around with this. It's a good starting point. We've got a feel for the things we need to tackle as we put more and more people's trains on here. And once we get to a more complicated layout with stations and so on, in addition to this yard or our main yard, the whole program becomes more complex to execute and to assemble. But hey, we're on our way.